All right, let's talk about how to share your lesson with your students while you're in your class. That's a pretty important feature. So one thing that you're going to want to make sure you have your sound on, especially if you have a video that you're going to be sharing with your students. So one thing that you're going to want to do is go to the actual lesson. So say I want to share this Walter potential lesson that I'm about to teach with my AP Bio class. So one thing that I'm going to want to do, I'm going to want to hit this teach button that's right here. So hit the teach button that pops up. And then you have three options, but really for us, we have two options. You have the live participation. So that's where you're literally talking to the students and you're participating in this lesson live. You have the live plus Zoom. Obviously, we don't use Zoom, so that one kind of can't use. And then there's a student self-paced. So the two that I'll show you is the live participation and the student self-paced. So say class is going on, we're about to go over this lesson. Hit the live participation, and then it will pop up. And you'll see this little code. So students could go to nearpod.com and type this code, but honestly, it's a lot easier. And then hit copy. You can copy this link, and then what I do, I just literally go back to the chat in the class. I hit the conversation button, and then I just paste that right into there. Now, when they hit this button, it'll take them to the actual lesson. And it's going to ask them, okay, do you want to log in with Google or Office 365? Just tell them log in with Office 365 because you hit it. Log in, is this you? Yes. And then here, we're in our collaboration board right now. So that's how you would do a live lesson. For the collaboration board, it's going to ask you, like, do you want to be able to approve comments? You always say yes to that. So that's one thing that you want to point out. And you can see that I can kind of show you this real quick. So, and this is what I was referring to in a previous video about how the collaboration. So you can see blah, 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 pending approval. But only that student can see it. And you can see how this little check mark right here with a 1, you can see Chris Cook wrote blah, blah, blah. So I can either approve it or deny it. If I approve it, it pops up. And if I want to say, oops, I didn't mean to do that, I can trash can it right there. So there's always that option with that. And then you can see as me as the teacher, as I go through this, you can see as the student, it goes here. I can probably put this on split screen so you can kind of see a little bit better. So the right screen is the teacher, the left screen is the student. So you can see as I go through this, it takes the students through it, which is nice. Okay, and then eventually it gets to my what is 2 plus 2. And then you can see when I start to draw, you'll start to see in a second, this will refresh and show what I have drawn in real time. It takes a little bit of a minute, but see, you can see it pops up periodically. It takes a few seconds for it to pop up, but I can see, and if I had 20 kids in here, I can see what all 20 kids are showing. Another thing I probably should mention about in the live lesson is, let me blow this up real quick. If you go down to the bottom left-hand side, you can see these little 3 people here. That's who is attending the lesson right now. So you can see, okay, Chris Cook is in here, Joe Schmo is in here, Sally's in here, whoever. That means that they're actually on this tab. They're in it. The red dot, I believe, is when they've moved away from the tab and they're not looking at it. So you can kind of see who's participating and who's not. Say if you want to skip to a slide, maybe just say, let's just skip this. You would just hit this particular slide and just hit share. And then you can see it moved, it moved on to that slide for the students, okay? One thing though with quizzes, so that I like, sorry, whenever I hit the over button. So you can see it's a time quiz that we did, get ready. And then as a teacher, I have to make sure everyone's ready, hit start activity. and he does a little countdown for them. And then here we go. I have 1 minute to, obviously this is a fake question, but you'd hit your answer, move on to the next, and then do your next answer. And let's just get this one wrong just so you can see on my end. And you can see real time that I selected B. That was the right answer for the first question. And you'll see for the next one, this is the wrong answer. I got partial of it. I got partial credit on this, but Nearpod doesn't do partial credit. I got solute concentration correct. Should be, actually, no, I should do volume, excuse me, not pressure. But the correct answer would be solute concentration and pressure. So let's see what happens when I only get partial. So then it says, got it, and I'm pretty much waiting for everyone to be done. And then give it a second, but it'll pop up, see that I got this question wrong. And if I want to see what I selected, I just select on that particular student's stuff, and I can see that they chose volume instead of pressure. So that would be wrong. You see time's up, so they're done. But another thing about this, and you can see penning out how many responses there are, how many of them got them right, how many got them wrong. One thing, though, that I would do, I would always do hide student's name off to the bottom right-hand side here, just so you, because who knows, maybe some students are having issues with Nearpod and can't get in, and they're actually watching you on your shared screen. So then if kids are looking through Teams, they could see technically what students scored on. So just, I guess, more of a privacy thing. You can have the, sometimes I forget, honestly, but it happens, but you'd hide the student's name by hitting this, hide student's name, or if you want to show it, whatever you prefer, really. And then, yeah, so then you can see the results. It also shows people who haven't answered, which is nice because you can see people that are just have this up and they're not participating, so away from the screen. Who knows what? And that's pretty much the basics of the participation, or I guess the live participation aspect. Now, say a student's absent and we need to share this with them, and obviously they can't do the live participation because that option has already passed. You've already done it. So what you can do is, here, let me hit save. Actually, no, it's this one. I'm sorry. What you can do is when you hit teach, and then you're going to want to hit student pace. So this means that the students are going to do their own pacing of this PowerPoint. They're going to go through it themselves without, obviously, the teacher involved. But nevertheless, one thing that I always like to do, there's a link that you can copy this link and then embed it into Schoology. I'll show you how to do that. But a nice thing, in the Week at a Glance page, I always take this embed link right here, and I usually do medium or large, and then you can copy this, and I'll show you how to do that. So you copy that, and then, I don't know, let's just go to AP, and I'll go to some random Week at a Glance I haven't done yet. I go to edit this Week at a Glance. Computer slow today. There we go. Oh, I guess I did this one already. But anyway, nevertheless, if I wanted to embed it right here, what I would do is hit Insert Content, and then I'm going to want to do Image/Media, and then I want to hit the tab From the Web, and then I want the type to be media. Okay, the type to be media, and you can see now this embed option pops up. So then you can just copy and paste that you just did with that embed code, hit Insert Media, and you can see this little yellow box appears. When you hit Save Changes, and you actually pop this up, give it a second, it's loading. You can see it appears right here, and the Nearpod is literally embedded in the Schoology page, which is really nice and I think really convenient for the students. So again, they would just log in same way. It's going to ask you, oh, are you Chris Cook? Yes, hit continue. And then they can hit full screen right up here. Oh, and I have to enable it, but how you would go about doing that, where is it? H2O potential. Go to teach, go to lesson settings, and it's in here. Here you go. Enable collaboration board for student pace lessons, so they can do that too. So they can put on the collaboration board. So there's that, and they can just click through the slides, okay? And that's just for the collaboration board. So you can click through the slides, you can see water potential, you can see all the stuff that pops up, you can see eventually the little drawing thing that we did, so then we can still draw on here, everything works just fine. And again, I can be able to see this back in the reports. Oops. And I don't think students have to hit submit for it to be done. If they click through it, it does automatically save from what I've seen. And you can keep clicking. There's the quiz that pops up. And you can actually make a setting where they can't go past this quiz without answering it, like I have, and I'll show you how to do that in a later video. But they would answer the questions, go through whatever they select, hit submit, and they can just go through it all. And you can see it tells you your score, which is nice, what you got right, wrong. And you can see your answers. You can see what you got right, what you got wrong. So it's nice because as a teacher, when you're going through the live section, it doesn't tell you this information. So I always like to go over the quiz questions with them. But yeah, so it's a nice little self-paced model for this, and the video would appear for the Bozeman and eventually the poll question. But whatever, all this stuff they can do on their own self-pace. And that's really the only two options that you have for this, the self-pace and the live participation. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions on them.